You're rolling.
Yes, sir.
So, tell me, walk me through the progression of your enlistment through the going into the Pacific.
Well, I went to basic, then other training in Camp Lejeune, North Carolina. Then I got selected to go to OCS and got a commission 9th of February, 44. And then left North Carolina, Camp Lejeune, in Quantico. And from Quantico, I went to Camp Pendleton, California.
Mm-hmm.
And from there, went aboard ship. First land we saw was Guadalcanal. And then on through and met in April of the 1st, 1945 at Okinawa. And we lost more Marines there than any other Pacific battle. So we had over 17,000 casualties there.
Wow.
And so then I came back to the States and stationed statewide for a while. Then I was released active duty and went into educational work, coaching, teaching. And then Korean War called, and I had stateside duty. Then came back and went into, stayed in the field of education. Went as principal at Carbon Hill. And from Carbon Hill, Mountain Brook became interested, or the people running the school system, or setting up, or just setting it up.
Yeah.
And so they asked me would I come down and join them, and I thought about it a long time. I went down, stayed there until Vietnam came along and called back to duty, and then I just stayed in the Marine Corps. Wherever they sent me, that's where I went. all over the country and the world. And then
Do you have a favorite place?
On April the 1st of 1983, it was time I already had, 38 years in the Marine Corps.
That's a long time.
So I retired, and in the field of education after that, and ended up at Mountain Brook. And they were all nice and good to me. I enjoyed it. And retired. And I retired in 1980. FEMA called me, and so I started working with FEMA in 1980, and I worked with them until I retired from them in 1990 something. I had
Okay.
30. It's almost 30 years, so I ended up retiring in 2007 or 2010, somewhere right in there.
Mm-hmm.
And been piddling since.
That's a good long career. When you were on the ship and in the Pacific, first time, you said the first land you saw was Guadalcanal.
Right.
What was going through your head at that time?
Well, it's time to use what we've been trained to do.
Exactly. Okay.
Kill the enemy.
How long before, I guess you went on a landing craft with your men to there? How long were you there?
Well, we stayed there. We were in the mop-up at the end.
Okay.
I got that. I wasn't in the original part of Guadalcanal. And so we ended up training, and I was in amphibian tractors. That's the metal. You see these metal alligators. That's what I was in Linden. We put troops aboard, and the first ones we had didn't have a ramp, so you had to jump over the side and go. But then a little later on, they started making new ones, and they had a ramp where you could drop the back lid of it down, and you could get out. And then we stayed there and kept getting ready to go, and so we were fortunate enough to. I was in the second wave at Okinawa, going in with Amtrak, and fortunately, they must have had enough information. They selected a pretty good beach that we didn't have a whole lot of resistance.
Oh,
but
good.
then we had some. Then after we got out, I was assigned a detail and go north after we landed, and that's where the part of the enemy was, up in the northern part. And so the group that I'd been assigned to lead, we eliminated most of that, and then we came back south and then joined the regular big forces on the big push south and on into Naha, the capital. And I was one of the first people to get into Naha. Got through that, and then I think we secured the island on June the 22nd. And then on the 4th of July, we got boarded the ship and went to Guam.
Okay.
In Guam, we were getting ready to go to Japan until Truman decided to drop the big bomb. So that stopped everything there.
It sure did.
And then in January of '46, I boarded the ship and came to the States. The rest of it, history.
You said 5 men in your platoon were awarded Silver Star?
What happened there was we were cleaning up, or going up, and the only thing that, then Amtrak was the only thing that could move because it had been raining and everything was so muddy, and Amtrak's the only thing to move. So we were hauling out the wounded, but in order to get to the wounded, we had to kill our way in to pick up the wounded. And so that's where they earned their Silver Star, eliminating the Japanese right there on the spot. We got them out.
How many do you think you how many wounded do you think you were able to take out?
Well, I tell you now, we hauled them out there by the Amtrak load. I could, yes, we could, I've had 18 to 20 packed in there. Then the old bills is bleeding in the stuff. Bill's pump blood out. You know, they accumulated in the
Wow.
back
Yeah.
end of, and I don't know. We ended up, I think, helped considerably bringing the war to the end. From then on,
Well, good.
from that, then we started going south, and that was a slow go too. The Army units was on the left side of the going down the island of Okinawa, and we had the right side in the big river there before we got into Naha, the capital. It was a river, Asakawa, and that's where it got blasted. Of course, across the river and there's a ridge over there, and they could see us and with their field gun, and so they were shelling, and the big blast went off, and I didn't get any injury from the shrapnel and everything, but the concussion blew me. That's when I landed on my right hip on that coral rock. And I'm still fussing at that coral rock for hurting me. Yes, sir. Yeah.